Good afternoon, everyone. Well, we're going to be getting started pretty soon here after a few people gather with us. We're going to be getting started talking about this week's Weather 101 segment. This week on our Weather 101, what we're going to be talking about is the hurricane season, forecast, what we're expecting over the upcoming several months. Hurricane season starts within just the next couple of days, starts on June 1st, goes all the way through November. So certainly with us being right along the Atlantic, we certainly have to be prepared. While we don't typically see many landfalling hurricanes or tropical storms right here on Delmarva, we certainly get the impacts from storms that may make landfall elsewhere. And we certainly are susceptible to landfall. We have seen landfalls in the past. It's just not something that frequently occurs, just due to the fact that we've got North Carolina that butts out to our south, New Jersey that butts out to our north, and it kind of helps protect us just a little bit. But still, we need to stay on guard. We need to stay prepared for the hurricane season, especially this year's hurricane season. So we're just going to get started with just some of the ingredients leading up to what may be a pretty active hurricane season, and then we'll go over some of the hurricane season forecasts that have been released for this year's hurricane season. So I'm just going to bring this a little bit wider. Take a look at these sea surface temperatures, the water temperatures out there in the Atlantic and the Caribbean already. A lot of temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Hurricanes only need temperatures climbing up to right around 80 degrees to really start to strengthen. Upper 70s, low 80s, and that's when you can get to the threshold where we can see hurricanes. So already we're seeing water temperatures in the Caribbean and in the Atlantic plenty warm for hurricanes. Water temperatures well above average here along our coast and really all across the Atlantic. We're seeing water surface temperatures well into the 80s, which is more typical for, well, it's more typical for the month of August. We're already at August water temperatures here in the Atlantic, and in the Caribbean and in the Gulf of Mexico, we're seeing some of the warmest water temperatures, and we're pretty much at the peak. What we would typically say is the peak of the season. We're already at that, and it's May, and those water temperatures are just going to continue to rise as we get closer into the worst of the season. So certainly that is going to be something that we have to keep a very close eye on. Water temperatures, very warm water temperatures, are going to provide a lot of energy for these storms to feed off of. So that is one thing going in the favor of stronger storms, a stronger, more active hurricane season. It's not the only thing that is leading us to believe that we're going to see a pretty active hurricane season. We're likely going to see an active hurricane season. Multiple reasons why. Well, we've got the warmer water temperatures, but we also have the development of a La Nina. So La Nina, what that means? Well, we've got cooler water right there in the equatorial Pacific, and what that can actually lead to is just better ingredients, better atmospheric ingredients, less sinking air over the Atlantic. Cool waters along the equatorial Pacific leads to less sinking air in the Atlantic, which with more uplift, we see stronger storm systems. But also, we're just going to go over some of those ingredients that we're expecting. So we've got that very warm Atlantic, mid-August temps already. So that's one thing leading towards a more active hurricane season. A couple of other things: developing La Nina, less sinking air, and less wind shear. So that's also leading to a pretty active hurricane season that we're expecting here along the coast. So those are two of the things that are really leading us to believe that we're going to have to keep a close eye on this hurricane season. Hurricane season forecast, pretty intense this year. We're expecting some pretty significant hurricane season forecasts. We haven't seen any tropical systems just yet, but once the hurricane season really gets going, we are expecting it to be a pretty active year. Colorado State University, which is one of those places that puts out a hurricane season every year, is predicting 23 named storms, 11 hurricanes, 5 major hurricanes. The Weather Company, which is the people that put together a lot of our graphics, they're the company that allows us to build our graphic system. They're predicting 25 named storms, 12 hurricanes, 6 major hurricanes. NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, This is the biggest forecast they've ever put out. It wouldn't be a record hurricane season, but it is the biggest forecast that they have ever put out. So they're predicting between 17 to 25 named storms, 8 to 13 hurricanes, and 4 to 7 major hurricanes. Pretty significant considering the season average, only 14 named storms. So every single one of those forecasts, well above the seasonal average. NOAA's is 3 to as much as 11 more named storms than average. The weather company's forecast, 11 named storms more than average. The Colorado State University, 9 named storms more than average. But it's not just named storms. Hurricanes also predicted to be well above average. Typically in a season, see about 7 hurricanes. Most of the forecast calling for double-digit hurricanes this year. And major hurricanes, we're looking at a pretty similar situation with those major hurricanes, where seasonally we typically see about 3 major hurricanes a year. This year, NOAA's forecasting 4 to as many as 7. Major hurricane would be a Category 3 to a Category 5 storm, produces significant damage if it makes landfall. This isn't predicting how many are going to make landfall. Plenty of these will stay out to sea, but certainly with this many storms, it certainly increases the chances that land does get impacted. The weather company forecasting 6 major hurricanes, and the Colorado State University forecasting 5 major hurricanes. So a very active hurricane season likely on the way. So it's going to be important that residents here along the coast on Delmarva are preparing for the hurricane season, since it's likely going to be one potentially for the record books. Right now, all these forecasts would put it in a top 5 hurricane season on record. So it's certainly going to be something that we have to stay prepared for over the coming months. Well, we'll be back with another Weather 101 next Sunday. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the hurricane season forecast, please be sure to drop them in the comment section below or send us a message. Have a great rest of your day.